man. We keep that fire all the time. Yes, indeed. Hey, man, people don't know, man, that the United States and United States and the state of Israel, man, they ain't on all the good terms people wants to believe. Man, you got these guys out here, man. You got Israeli extremists, man, that's threatening on the DL. They ain't openly saying it, but they saying it. Like the United States, man, got to quit acting like they telling them what to do. You know that they got their own fucking agenda. Now this guy's name is Mossab Hussein Yosef. Mossab who's Hassan Yosef, and he's an Israeli extremist. And I seen other videos, man, where the Israelis acting like they would nuke the United States. Yeah, man, they talking crazy, man. They want these motherfuckers to roll with them or else. You feel me? But they talking real greasy, man. I say, what? Like, yeah, because Donald Trump, he kind of like trying to pump Netanyahu, but come right back and shit. The Israelis got their own motherfucking agenda over there. They ain't got the same agenda as the United States. See, because the Israelis got to stay over there. I'm saying this not because y'all motherfuckers, y'all get lost. I just want you to stand in each person's position and look so you know why they making the decisions that they making. Number one, the Israelis they ass is over there. You see, and they surrounded. And it's their own fault. It's their own motherfucking fault. Okay, it's nobody's fault but their own. It's also the fault of the United States. It's also the fault of the British. French over there, the French too, because their hand was over there, because they created that Disneyland over there. Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Israel, all of that shit. They was gonna name Iran. They was gonna rename Iran Mesopotamia. They was gonna rename Iran Mesopotamia. All of that shit over there new. People keep thinking that it's been that way. The Bible and shit. No. They went over there and put names on that shit over there. Lebanon, Syria, Assyria, in Israel, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and they gave a lot of them Eastern Jews, they let them live on the land. It was Palestine, but it wasn't Palestine. You see what I'm saying? That's what the Romans called it. Okay, so it's even Palestine. And so they gave that land to them Jews, the Eastern Jews, 1948. And so y'all came in, you're not from no bloodline. That's just what it is. Now they saying otherwise. So that's what it is. They saying otherwise, that they are, that they converts, they've been carrying the religion, you know what I'm saying? So they say they Jews. And according to the Bible, that's their land, that God gave them the land. So they say this is their land. So right or wrong, we're not gonna argue that. So, but you got these Arabs over there that say, yeah, we understand all that, but we have to understand what the fight is. We understand that too. They saying that it's not their land. They took the land. Okay, then we understand that. But so, they saying that they're gonna obliterate them. That's what the Arabs The ones that's against the Israelis, they saying that they're gonna obliterate the state of Israel, especially Iraq. You know who was funding the groups in Lebanon, uh, Hezbollah, and you know what I'm saying? They're funding them. And so, they see this, that this is going to come down to a great catastrophe. Because, man, listen here. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people talk about the United States. They talk about Russia. They talk about China. I'm going to tell you who I believe the first one that would drop a nuclear bomb in the modern era is them Israelis. I believe so. And the crazy, and if y'all just getting on here, they are they saying that, they telling the United States to back the fuck up. And saying that they have already threatened the United States. They saying they have, it was during the I believe the 7-day war. I think it, a 12-day war over there. I was looking at a bit of the video, and they actually saying that they had already threatened the United States with unconventional warfare. Unconventional meaning nukes. So I'm like, whoa, it's on that level? It's on that level, huh? This shit right here is more serious than what people think. And they think them motherfucking Arabs over there. A lot of these motherfuckers be wild. You know what I'm saying? To a motherfucker jump in their chest for real. I think the United States, and I'm only speaking. I'm not speaking for white people or nothing. I'm just speaking in general. How the United States, being an imperialistic power that they have, mostly always responded to certain shit like that, like fuck you. We'll run up in there real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just keep running off at your mouth. But the United States ain't where it used to be. I ain't saying they ain't got military, its economy, its industry is not where, back in World War II, you had motherfucking factories all over this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? When World War II came, even Vietnam, up into Vietnam, Korea, you had a lot of industry in the United States, meaning if they went to war or anything, they would turn all of these factories into military factories. They would stop pushing cars and then push tanks and and whatever else, because you got assembly lines, you got all these factory workers. So a lot of this shit then moved overseas. A lot of this shit moved overseas when they started outsourcing a lot of their shit over there to China and to Asia. They became the manufacturing powerhouses and shit. So now these motherfuckers over here can't even build a ship. Even that, the ability to build skyscrapers, they could still do it, but they don't have the infrastructure and the workforce to do it like they could have did it previous year, back, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s. They don't have it. That's why, they talking about, how they may have depleted some of their missiles and shit. Man, they was pushing that shit off like it wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give a fuck because they could turn all of these factories in the United States into military factories. They don't have that no more. They can't even put out, ships and shit. China is kicking their ass on damn near everything because now they got the industry. They got the manufacturing, the factories and the workforce. They got it now. They told the United States, we'll do it for you. We'll do it for cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you paying the American workers, we could do it for 50, 60, 70% less. We'll do it for 60, 70% less. You see, and so they done took over every motherfucking thing. And to the point now they building up major cities in 10 years that it took, Americans 100 years to build. 100 years. That once, and I keep saying Shenzhen, Shenzhou, whatever the fuck that city is the fastest built mega city in world history. It only took them like a fucking 15 years to build that city, and it got more skyscrapers than the New York. So what it took New York 100 years to build, they did it in like 10 to 15 years, surpassed them. You see, they got a workforce. So United States is, they got military, but if they start losing shit like them ships, if they start losing, how they gonna replenish that shit? You know what I'm saying? If they start losing, how they gonna replenish that shit without that industry? So they ain't jumping in these motherfuckers' chests like they was during like Desert Storm. Desert Storm motherfuckers still good. They was pushing that shit. Today it's totally different. But yeah, the Israelis is out here selling wolf tickets. Who? Okay. My mods out there, y'all can't let I got him. Y'all got to chop heads. Yeah, chop heads out there. You understand what I'm saying? But I know y'all amazed by the information. A lot of times we be amazed by the information. I get the same way. I look into the eyes of the teachers. I don't be paying motherfuckers but anyway, family, yeah, they talking greasy. It's like they saying that they could attack the United States, the Israelis. Listen to that. Listen to that. They say quit pushing us. We got our own agenda. Y'all do what the fuck y'all want to do. We gonna do what the fuck we want to do. That's what they saying. And don't push us to do shit we don't want to do. That's really what they saying. But anyway, family, click that link down there, video description, Patreon. Also get over to General SETI One Stop Etsy store, man. We got all the classic DVDs you need, that hard copy, classic material, HD. In a minute you ain't gonna be able to get shit. That's why everybody, the artists is going back to vinyl. They going back to CDs. Do y'all understand that? The quality, a hard copy, all that bogus shit you seeing out there on the internet. You got to have this material. Get over there, get it. I got it for you, and I'll see you later on. Black Pop.